Today is April 25th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It's a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to be reading Personal Stories, Part 2. They Stopped in Time. We're going to be finishing story number 8, Because I'm an Alcoholic, pages 334 through 347. And out of the 12 and 12, we're going to continue our journey through step 12 by reading page 123. So with all that, I hope you all are doing well today. I apologize for my voice in advance. I got a little bit of allergies, and I think it's affected my throat a little bit. But other than that, I feel fine. Life is good. We've been given a brand new set of 24 hours, and we get to decide to be who we want to be. So with that, let's get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading, our friend here, she has seen a second therapist. And her second therapist believes that she might be an alcoholic. The second therapist has been a little bit more direct with our friend here than the original. So the second therapist kind of plugs her into AA. It says here on the top of 344, terrified, I made an appointment and I kept it. She told me the symptoms of alcoholism and I had them all. She gave me a list of AA meetings and recommended one. So we're going to go ahead and finish up our story here, see how things work out for her. Top of page 344. I went to that meeting, a small women's group. I was scared and in withdrawal. Someone greeted me and I muttered my name aloud. Someone brought me a cup of coffee. People gave me their phone numbers and urged me to call, to pick up the telephone instead of a drink. They were warm and friendly, and they said to keep coming back. And I did. For weeks, I sat in the back of the rooms, silent when others shared their experience, strength, and hope. I listened to their stories and found so many areas where we overlapped. Not all of the deeds, but the feelings of remorse and hopelessness. I learned that alcoholism isn't a sin. It's a disease. That lifted the guilt that I had felt. I learned that I didn't have to stop drinking forever, but just not pick up that first drink one day, 1 hour at a time. I could manage that. There was laughter in those rooms, and sometimes tears, but always love. And when I was able to let it in, that love helped me heal. I read everything that I could about this disease that I have. My readings recounted the course that I had lived and predicted the way that I would die if I continued drinking. I had access to a good medical library, but after a while I realized the genetics and chemistry of the disease were of no use to me as an alcoholic. All that I needed to know about it, what would help me get sober, help me recover, I could learn in AA. I was blessed to live in a city where there were meetings at all hours of the day and night. There I'd be safe. And there, within a few blocks of my apartment, at last I would find the self that I had traveled thousands of miles in search of. The slogans on the walls, which at first made me shudder, began to impress me as truths that I could live by. One day at a time. Easy does it. Keep it simple. Live and let live. Let go and let God. The Serenity Prayer. Commitment and service were part of recovery. I was told to keep it. We would have to give it away. At first, I made the coffee and later volunteered at the intergroup office answering telephones on the evening shift. I went on 12-step calls, spoke at meetings, served as a group officer. Ever so gradually, I began to open. Just a crack at first, with my hand on the door ready to slam it shut in a moment of fear. But my fears subsided too. I found that I could be there, open all kinds of people from this solid base that we shared. Then I began to go back out into the world carrying that strength with me. I found that now I could do many things without a drink. Write, answer the telephone, eat out, go to parties, make love, get through the day and the evenings. Sleep at night and get up the next morning ready to begin another day. I was amazed and proud to have gone a week without a drink, then a month. Then I lived an entire year sober, through my birthday, Christmas, problems, successes, the mixture that makes up life. I healed physically, felt good, my senses returned. I began to hear the delicate sound of autumn leaves rattling in the wind, to feel the touch of snowflakes on my face, to see the first new leaves of spring. Then I began to heal emotionally, to experience the feelings that had long been so deeply buried that they had atrophied. For a time I floated on that pink cloud. Then I cried for a year, raged for another year. My feelings returned and then began to settle down to reasonable size. Above all, I healed spiritually. The steps took me on that path. I had admitted that I was powerless over alcohol, that my life had become unmanageable. That was what got me through the door. Then I came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. And eventually, I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood Him. Years before, in my search, I had explored numerous religions and dropped them because they preached a patriarchal God, which I never felt included me. Alcohol Anonymous, I was told, is a spiritual program, not a religious one. Through my years of darkness, some spark of spirit remained in me, helped me survive until I found my way into AA. Then, nurtured by the program, that inner spirit grew, deepened, until it filled the emptiness that I had so long felt inside. Step by step, I moved to a spiritual awakening. Step by step, I cleared out the past and got on with the present. AA is my home now, and it is everywhere. I go to meetings when I travel here or in foreign countries, and the people are family that I know because of what we share. And the people are family I can know because of what we share. As I write this, in my 28th year of sobriety, I am amazed to look back and remember the woman or child I was then, to see how far I've come out of that abyss. Alcoholics Anonymous has enabled me to move from fantasies about what I might do with my life into living it, one day at a time. In my first move that was not a geographic, I left the city and moved to the country. I left research and became a gardener. I discovered that I am a lesbian and that I love women. I'm fulfilling a long-time dream of writing fiction that is being published. But these are things that I do, aspects of the life that I'm living in sobriety. The most precious discovery is who I really am. Like all of us, a being far beyond any of the ego's selves, any of the fantasies I'd made up. That sense of being different, which had long plagued me, disappeared when I saw the threads that run through all of us. Sharing our stories, our feelings, it is the areas where we are the same that impress me. The differences are but delightful flourishes on the surface, like different colored costumes, and I enjoy them. But the basic ways we are human, the basic ways we simply are, stand out to me now. I came to see that we are all really one, and I no longer feel alone. All right, beautiful stuff. Can't wait to come back to this in just a minute. All right, my friends, so out of the 12 steps and 12 traditions, we are continuing our journey through step 12, which is having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs. And today we're continuing our journey by reading page 123. How we alcoholics did resent that verdict. We would not believe that our adult dreams were often truly childish. And considering the rough deal life has given us, we thought it perfectly natural that we were sensitive. And to our grandiose behavior, we insisted that we had been possessed of nothing but a high and legitimate ambition to win the battle of life. In the years since, however, most of us have come to agree with these doctors. We have had a much keener look at ourselves and those about us. We have seen that we were prodded by unreasonable fears or anxieties into making a life business of winning fame, money, and what we thought was leadership. So false pride became the reverse side of that ruinous coin marked fear. We simply had to be number one people to cover up our deep-lying inferiorities. In fitful successes, we boasted of greater feats to be done. In defeat, we were bitter. If we didn't have much money, if we didn't have much of any worldly success, we became depressed and cowed. Then people said that we were of the inferior type. But now we see ourselves as chips off the same old block. At heart, we have all been abnormally fearful. It mattered little whether we had sat on the shore of life, drinking ourselves into forgetfulness, or plunged in recklessly and willfully beyond our depth and ability. The result was the same. All of us had nearly perished in a sea of alcohol. All right, my friends. So while this is fresh, man, this line right here, we have seen that we were prodded by unreasonable fears or anxieties into making life the business of winning fame, money, and what we thought was leadership. So a little bit about me. Ever since I was in third grade, I wanted to be a writer. I always wanted to be a published author. I love to write. As a matter of fact, I still do something to this day that's related to writing, but long story short, so far, I haven't published a thing. And I love the idea of writing, and but there was so much fear, right? I took a year off from my other career to take time to write. And I got a different job that I thought was gonna, allow me more time to do that. But long story short, I wanted to finish a novel by that first year, and I never did. I had writer's block. Turns out that easy job, and I put that in quotes, actually allowed me less time to write than the job I had before. Go figure. And I didn't do it. I didn't get the job done. And I felt for years like I was a failure because of that. Once again, right here, fears into making life a business of winning fame, money, or what we thought was leadership. I felt like a failure, and that depression really sunk in, and I drank more after that. But the truth is, I'm not a failure. I could have never seen things turning away the way they did. But I've kind of gotten fooled through the steps into having a much deeper relationship with my higher power. And now, on the other side of things, one day at a time, that I've done the steps and I try to give it away and carry the message and try to do what the big book tells me to do. When I do these things, I don't feel like a failure. Do I have money and fame and all these things? No. Do I have a ton of material possessions? That's relative. I'm sure compared to some I do, but compared to some, I'm not even close. But one thing I do have is something richer than anything I've ever had before. I have peace. I'm okay with me. I like me. To quote Del Griffith from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I like me. My wife likes me. My family likes me, I'm rich. I am so rich spiritually. And have I given up writing? Absolutely not. I journal almost every day. I am a writer. But I don't view myself as a failure because the whole world hasn't seen my writing. It's okay. I still feel like I have something to say. And one day, it'll happen. But all in God's timing. Going back to the big book real quick. I think it's beautiful that our friend here finds sobriety, and she must have plugged herself right in. And, at first she's not sharing, but she starts volunteering for the inner group. She starts to do all the things that her friends tell her to do. And of course the slogans, she does the steps and everything. She does the work. And now she even mentions she's 28 years sober. And, I instantly perk up when I hear somebody who has that kind of sobriety, because, that's a goal of mine one day. But I can't think too far ahead. I've got to take it one step at a time. But I really try to hone in on the wisdom that they share. Because sometimes the wisdom that they share can collapse time for me. And I could save a lot of heartache if I just listen and apply what they say to my life. I love this line right here. After 28 years of sobriety, she changed what she did for a living. She's okay with herself. She says, the most precious discovery is who I really am. Like all of us, a being far beyond any of the ego selves, any of the fantasies I'd made up. And I love this last paragraph. That sense of being different, which had long plagued me, disappeared when I saw the threads that run through us all. Sharing our stories, our feelings, is the areas where we are the same that impressed me. The differences are but delightful flourishes on the surface, like different colored costumes, and I enjoy them. But the basic ways that we are human, the basic ways we simply are, stand out to me now. I came to see that we are all really one, and I no longer feel alone. Man, I just love that. What makes us different makes us beautiful. But I think at the core, we all desire to love and be loved. Again, this is just Robology right here. And I just think it's beautiful the way she describes that. But the biggest thing that stands out to me is she's okay with being herself. She's discovered who she is. And in sobriety, I'm discovering who I am. Most of the time, I don't let fears stop me from doing what I love to do now. Can I still be fearful? Absolutely. A man is what a man does. I heard that line recently. And that's all present tense. Today I can be fearful if I don't do what I'm asked to do from the steps. So I choose not to be fearful today. I choose not to drink today. So with all that, my friends, I hope you all have a great day today. It is truly a thrill and an honor and a joy to be here. I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect or anything like that. I am just a guy, grateful, just a friend in recovery that loves these two books. If you are sober today, my friends, you are a miracle. And those who are around you, those who love you, are very proud of you. If we are given another set of 24 hours, I truly look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow.